Fire Sword, Chapter 22, Warrior's Tomb. At the behest of Sairi, the Elysians made their way to a place where the finest of Chonsun's warriors were laid to rest in order to properly mourn their losses. It was said that if your prayers were uttered inside the ancient grounds, they would be heard by your loved ones in the afterlife. Sairi also revealed that each continent had a similar location in which time itself seemed skewed. In Ferox, Robin knew, there was a place called the Ruins of Time, which covered Elise and Plegia, he imagined. The warriors of Alfheim and Cordelia were nearly silent as the tomb they had come to visit. The whole time since Klein's death had been announced, Kirito had yet so much to speak as a single word, and Cordelia's eyes had yet to run out of tears. The Black Swordsman's family and friends had done their best to console him, but to no avail. He simply walked around like a silent puppet with slack strings. Asuna tried to be strong for his sake, but the pain of Klein's death had touched her deeply as well, and it was all that she could do now to stay by her husband's silent side. Yui had never seen her parents in such a state in the whole time they had been together. Once, she had seen such bleakness in her father after the death of Sachi. But back then, he'd had Asuna to work his spirits back up. Now, with her so down, neither one of them looked well. The sight broke her heart. Cordelia was much the same, despite Sumiya's best efforts. The redhead lacked all the previous vitality and fire that she was renowned for. The shepherd's elite were all, quite simply, a broken mess. Such was their state when they entered the tomb of Chonsun. The place was dark and musty, as befitted a catacomb. As they walked through the halls, Sairi began to recite the ancient prayers she had been taught since childhood. Naga, divine protector of mankind, please hear our cries in this troubling hour. A great man has recently passed from our care, and now we ask that you take him into your own. This man was a valiant warrior, and a friend to many. Those he has left behind are with us now, and I ask for your healing power to be cast over them as they mourn his passing. The incantation continued for many minutes, and by the time it was done they had reached the central chamber, where kings and queens of old were laid to rest after their labors. I thank you for your protection on behalf of all those that stand with me now, Sairi concluded. Amen, Naga, divine dragon. Amen, several shepherds echoed. Before they could move to light the torches, however, an unearthly howl echoed through the catacombs, and every single person present stiffened in either fright or surprise. Kazuto? Suguha said fearfully. What was that? In response, Kazuto's face hardened to an almost razor-sharp degree. Risen, he stated, his voice still as dead as his attitude had been. He reached up and drew his swords as he faced one of the tunnels where more shrieks echoed around them. The others quickly followed suit and armed themselves for combat. Can we seriously not go for a walk without someone needing to be saved? Crom asked of no one in particular. All right, Robin, what's the plan? Whatever we do, don't split up, the tactician ordered. We're not staying here either. We're too easy of a target. We need to find out whoever made that scream. Assuming they're still alive. Another shout echoed through the tomb, as if to mark his point. Move, shepherds! Crom ordered as he sent some of them to examine the eastern exit. They poured into the pass as soon as it was declared safe, but they soon found themselves being confronted by risen monsters. Let me take care of them, Yui said as she leaped to the front with the help of her wings. Careful, child, Sairi warned. Your power is not as great as it was on the divine grounds, where you last faced these monsters. Still, I can do my part, Yui said firmly, her small chin firming up. Stretching out her right hand, she unleashed a brilliant blast of light that incinerated several of the monsters simply by touching them. Since Yui's magic was divine in origin, demonic creatures like the Risen couldn't hope to stand against its power. The little girl staggered back, tired from such a massive use of magic. Yui! Asuna called out as she caught her daughter up before she could fall over. Sorry, Mama, Yui gasped. I just didn't want anyone to get hurt again, as she passed out from the strain. Before any of them could move to counter the oncoming Risen, two figures darted out from a side passage. Ah, bollocks! One of them, a boy, shouted. How many of these things are there going to be in here? Marth, calm down, the other, a young girl, said. Just trying to think about how Dad would handle this? Well, practically speaking, Morgan, you're better suited for his standard response to these freaks, he said as he drew a long sword. I'll just have to do this my way. And he moved with incredible swiftness to cut down the monsters. The girl rolled her eyes and pulled out an old yellow spellbook, from which she immediately cast Thoron to strike down two more Risen. Hey, Blue, we got two more coming this way! A guy shouted from the rear. We have others over here, too, Lonku shouted as he peered down a passageway. Back's not looking so hot neither, Donald said as he scanned the way that they had come from. We're sitting ducks, Your Majesty. We'll be ducks to fight back then, Crom declared. When Robin started snickering despite the situation, Crom muttered, sounded much better in my head. Here they come, Lonku shouted as Risen stepped up from the shadows. Again, before the shepherds could act, a pair of small people intervened. Out of the way, one of them called cheerily as she performed a flip over the now confused swordmaster. Twin power, coming at you! This time it was two girls that attacked the Risen, using only swords to drive them back with incredible coordination. One was incredibly energetic in her approach, practically bouncing off the walls to attack the zombies, while her companion took a more modulated, level approach. Something about the way they fought seemed very familiar to Asuna and Kirito, but before they could think too hard on it, they were surprised yet again. This time, a single girl interposed herself between the Risen and the shepherds. Dark blue hair that seemed to match the first set of children's that covered her neck swished gently as she parried a sword blow with a quarterstaff. A counter-strike later, the Risen Day lay dead at her feet. I gotta say, she murmured as she stepped back from its angry companions. These things are way slower than even the mobs on floor 27. She looked back at the unfamiliar faces and grimaced slightly. Right, she said sheepishly. You wouldn't know what I'm talking about. Beg pardon, but who are you, miss? Frederick asked as he jabbed forward with his spear. This is hardly the place for children to be. Well, believe me, I would have just as soon gone home, but that wasn't really an option for me. The girl replied quietly. I'm here because I was told Kirito would be here, and he needs my help. You know Sir Kirito? Lucina said as she approached the girl. Seriously, what did I say about... Kirito shouldered his way to the front to fight the Risen, but as soon as he saw the newcomer, he dropped both swords in shock. His already pale face went stark white. His jaw worked up and down, but no sound came out. The girl smiled and said, Hello, Kirito. It's been a while, hasn't it? Asuna had to move Yui away from the zone of combat, and now she stood with a sword ready to defend her unconscious daughter at any cost. We've already lost too much here, she thought. No more. Wow, Asuna, you're looking just as serious as ever, a bright, cheery voice said, followed by a girl that flipped back to land next to her. This must be a real important fight, because every other time I saw you, you were just smiling and laughing away, you know? Asuna felt like she was going to pass out when the young warrior stepped into better light. Slim body, boundless energy, long, flowing hair of a dark purple shade, crimson eyes, and an irrepressible smile. You're... Been a while, huh? The girl giggled. And I know I kicked the bucket, so this must probably be pretty confusing for you, right? Sorry, we'll have to put it off until we beat these zombie mobs, okay? Later! And she sprang back into action, leaving a dumbfounded Asuna behind. It couldn't have been. She gasped, tears sliding down her face involuntarily. Could it really be? Despite getting lost twice and 3 of their number taking serious wounds, the shepherds managed to escape from the tomb that Sayri had led them into. As soon as they were in the clear, Crom shouted, Robin, bring down the entrance! Robin and one of the twins with blue hair moved in perfect sync, casting bolts of lightning that smashed into the stone above the entrance, bringing down a ton of masonry. With the threat sealed away, the shepherds broke into the smaller group to tend to their wounds and talk among themselves. Robin looked over at the child that had attacked in synchronization with him, impressed. That was some fine spellcasting, he says. The child hurriedly stuffed their tome in their oversized jacket. Where'd you learn? Dad! The girl shouted happily as she tackled into Robin, bowling him over and taking him completely by surprise. I'm so glad to see you! Dad? He muttered, shaking his head, not sure that he hadn't been hit too hard by the energetic teenager. Marth, Dad's here! The girl shouted at her companion. Where? He said, his gaze locking onto the prone man. Oh, for the love of Naga, Morgan, be careful with the old man. He's not as young as he used to be. Hey, Robin objected as he got to his feet. I may not remember everything, but I can't be older than 20. Maybe 23. Then he stopped as he looked closely at Martha and Morgan together. Wait, you're my... Hello, Father, Martha said as he hugged the blonde man briefly. It's very good to see you. Things weren't looking so good back there. I should have known you'd gather your friends to come save us. Robin said, unsure of how to respond. I'm very confused. He looked over at Lucina, who also seemed perplexed. Lucina, why did you fail to mention that I have children in the future? You didn't, she replied, and I have no idea who they are either. The future? The one called Morgan said. Dad, are you feeling okay? You look kind of... Wait, no, you actually look great. Like you aged backwards or something. I haven't aged backwards, but I think I know what's going on, Robin said after a moment of thought. Like you, Lucina, they must have come from the future, just not the one you're familiar with. Another ruined future? Lucina gasped. Perhaps, but I have a sense there was a happier future nonetheless, Robin said with a hint of a blush. Tell me, kids, who's your mother? We don't know, Martha admitted, a little shamefaced. For whatever reason, we can't remember what our mother looked like. Just you and not much else. Well, then let's see, Robin pretended to think. Who else do you see around here with blue hair? And I swear, if I see another falchion other than Crom's, he is going to have a conniption fit. He looked pointedly at Marth's sword as he said this. Morgan and Marth looked over at Lucina, who flushed a deep red. Robin also blushed a bit as he placed a hand on both of the children's shoulders with a smile. She's our mother? Marth asked. Cool! Morgan chirped. Lucina fainted. Asuna was standing before two girls, both of which resembled a good friend from her past, though she had only ever met one of them. Is that you? She asked quietly. Yuki? Sup? The girl grinned. You look good, Asuna. This world's been good for you. How? Allow me to explain, said the other girl, identical to Yuki in every way, save that her hair was braided back. My name is Aiko. You may have already guessed that I am Yuki's twin sister. When I died back on Earth, a voice called to me, a voice I had never heard before. At first I thought it was an angel, like my mother used to tell us about, because the voice was so soft and kind. It told me that I could have another chance at life in another world if I was patient and waited for Yuki to come to me. At first I wanted to go join our family immediately, but eventually the voice persuaded me to wait, saying that one day a group of brave warriors would need Yuki and my help. So I waited, and eventually Yuki came the same place as me. When we first reunited, all she would talk about was you, Asuna. That's when the voice returned again. This time it told us that you would be part of the group that we were destined to help. And I was glad that we had waited. Yuki wanted so much to help you in any way that she could after all that you did for her, and now I want to help the person that helped my sis so much. Aiko bowed deeply to Asuna, who had tears running down her face freely. Thank you so much, Asuna, she finished. My blade and I are now at your service. Asuna couldn't even reply at this point. The day of Yuki's death had been one of the most painful ones in her entire life, right up there with the moment she thought that she had lost Yui back in the old Lincrad. Yuki had taught her so much about carrying true inner strength and standing up for oneself. She had grown to love the younger girl like a sister. Hey, it's okay, Asuna, Yuki said as she stepped closer. I'm here now, so is Aiko. I really wanted the chance for you two to meet, and now? She got no further as Asuna flung her arms around Yuki and cried. Kazuto and Sachi were staring at each other in the eyes, neither one saying a word. The girl had not aged a day since he had last seen her 5 years ago. Kazuto was almost certain that the curse he had undergone was still causing him to hallucinate all of this, but the small part of him that wanted to accept this as reality would not give up. At last, after so many minutes of silence, Kazuto said, What was it that you tried to tell me? I said so in my message, Sachi replied quietly with a slight smile. Thank you, Kirito. What were you thanking me for? He said hoarsely. His throat felt drier than sand. I'm the reason. You and the others. If you really listened to my message, you know none of that's true, Kirito. Sachi replied quietly. I never blamed you. Not even in the end. Kazuto began to shake as he fell to his knees. I broke my promise to you. Tears began to fall from his eyes in streams. Everyone breaks a promise at some point in their life, Kirito. Sachi said gently as she knelt before him. I forgive you. That was it. Those were the words that he had wanted to hear for so long, yet he never got the chance to hear them. He had often dreamed that she would say that to him, should they ever see one another again, but never had he really believed that it would actually happen. And now? I'm so sorry, Sachi, he cried as he hugged her tightly, afraid to let her go. I tried my best, but I couldn't, and now you're... He couldn't go on. I'm back, Kirito, she said in understanding while she hugged him. It's gonna be okay now. As she held him, she began to hum a familiar tune, softly at first, but then forming the words after a little while. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. The black swordsman shuddered as he heard the words, echoing from the depths of his memory. Then he, too, began to join her in song. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then how the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history. They pulled back, both with tears in their eyes, with a smile on their lips. I guess you're here to stay? The boy asked hopefully. I am, Sachi nodded, and this time I'll learn how to be strong like you, Kirito. The name is Kazuto, he corrected her with a slightly larger smile. Kazuto Kirigaya. I'm glad to have you back, Sachi. Sayuri, she said. My name is Sayuri Motodeto, and I'm glad to be back, Kazuto. I can't wait to hear about all the things that I missed while I was gone. Up above, in a place untouched by mortals, a man with a katana and an ugly bandana nodded to himself with a grin. Thanks, Naga, he said. Hang in there, Kirito, old buddy. You're going to need every friend you can get for what's coming next. Now this chapter, this was very fun to write. And I loved the amount of positive feedback that I got from it. Because, like I mentioned last time, everybody, I'm pretty sure there's 101 fanfics out there about Robin and having both gender of the kids, just having them be twins, Morgan and Morgan, or I'm not sure what people usually I'm not sure what people usually name the boy, because Morgan tends to be the girl's name more often, as I understand it. I decided to go with Marth, mostly because Lucina called herself that for a bit, and it seemed like a nice homage to that, and in addition to the original Hero King. But what really threw people was not only did I bring back Sachi for real this time, I also brought back Yuki and further her sister Aiko. And Yuki's been a very popular character among the SAO fandom for a while, as I understand it. And in the video game canon, she does live. She's still alive, which I'm like, I can go either way on. Personally, I like it. I don't like that she died in the anime, but I understood the reasoning behind it. But at the same time, it's like, oh, she's a really cool character. You don't want to waste her potential either. So making her alive in the game canon, that too, I can get behind. But yeah, a lot of people were still going on about me having killed off Klein, and more so because they felt bad for Cordelia at this point than they did about Klein being killed off. Which is honestly the reaction I was trying to get out of you guys. Sorry, it's still making me laugh. Yeah, at this point, a lot of people were like, "Oh, he's actually dead," because you'd think that he would have made contact with them by now if he wasn't. But you know what? There's reasons for everything that happens. So yeah, I remember someone saying that Sachi being back might pose an issue to Asuna and Kirito's marriage. And no, I don't think it does, because keep in mind, Kirito's a very different person at this point than he was those years ago when he was stuck in Sword Art Online. I mean, had Sachi survived in the original canon, then yeah, I can absolutely see them being a pair, but not with the way that things have progressed. Sachi's been out of his life for years now, and of course he still loves her as she returns. He's not in love with her, though. I mean, if he ever was, he's not anymore. I mean, they're very close companions, as I mentioned last time. They trust each other implicitly, but there's no romantic love between them. And I felt like that was another important archetype of relationship to highlight, because it's not often these days you see a non-romantic relationship between people of different the people of the two different genders. It's usually just an automatic ship or whatever happens. I like the not the brother sister pair that they have going on. They're just really good friends. I quite enjoy that. I quite enjoy that dynamic. So that was another reason for me bringing her back. Also because just she deserved to live. She didn't deserve what happened to her back on floor 27. That needed to be fixed. Um, but no, it's not going to cause a problem between Kirito and Asuna. That would be, geez, that'd be really messed up, man. Um, but this was one of the ones where I saw an explosive amount in the amount of reviews that I got. So I guess either the chapter was better written than previous ones, or the content was more to the liking of the audience, of you guys. Um, I don't think I have really much else to say on that, other than thanks again, guys, for your support. I mean, it really means a lot to me. But thank you so much for having joined me for this audio chapter. I will try to have the next one out later this week. No guarantees, I've got a baby. I'm taking care of her at home. That keeps me really busy. But I will I will continue this on, and be sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and just have a good day, guys. Take care. I'm the Red Swordsman, and I am out of here.